Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the E-commerce Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Curry, CEO of OMG Commerce. And today we are talking with Charles Tichenor from disruptorschool.com. And we're talking about Facebook ads and social and AI and all kinds of crazy fun stuff to help you grow your business. And quick background, I met Charles first at Geek Out San Diego. I was speaking there. Shout out to Nick Shackelford. Met Charles there. I was like, whoa, who is this crazy smart guy? And so we met there. And then Blue Ribbon, also San Diego. Separate event, separate time. We met there because you were speaking with my buddy Jeremiah Allen. And so we really connected and hung out there, I think over the cigar party potentially. But anyway, Charles and I were chatting. We're like, dang, this is a podcast episode. Let's do it. So here you are. So Charles, what's up, man? And I want you to shed light on a couple things, and I got a couple of intro questions for you. But
all right,
you were once listed as top 100 advertiser on Facebook. You've generated $1 billion in revenue from Facebook ads. Like, these are some crazy statistics. What do you attribute that to? Like, how have you become this monster, maybe that some people don't know about with Facebook ads?
I think it really comes down to three things. First off is luck and timing, in that I basically was spending 7 figures a day before there was a Facebook pixel. So the fact that I was supervisor at Omnicom for the Resolution Media, the performance marketing division, overseeing Nissan and CBS and Henkel, working with Activision and Levi's and Apple, back in like 2013, 2014, just right place, right time, right? So that's always a key place of things. There's nothing you could beat that.
Totally.
I think a second thing was that I did get a very strong background in data science and analysis. So I have like an MBA from a Harvard Business Review. And what that really helped me do was, when I was spending that money, I was always doing case studies. I was always doing very aggressive testing. And what that meant was, back at the time, there was like one rep at Facebook for everybody west of the Mississippi River. And nobody wanted to talk to him because Facebook was this ugly redhead stepchild of a thing that everybody in the room was all about Yahoo.
Nobody understood it.
Yeah. So me and this guy became best friends. And anytime there was a new tool, or they were building up a new team or new, ad type, I had a 7-figure budget to test it. One of the first big wins we had was I launched the first lead gen ads on Facebook. So not only did I have huge budgets, but I also had, master's degree education on conducting case studies and data analysis for marketing. So I kind of became the Chuck Yeager of Facebook ads, one of, not the only one, but a few of them, just kind of test piloting a million things. So by the time other people got to see stuff, Facebook was funding me at $10,000, $50,000 a day sometimes on new tools. And that, still happens to this day, which has given me tremendous insight into how the platform was developed, the tools, how they're being designed, the product teams behind marketing and messenger and measurement, how they all were actually working together. And I've seen those teams evolve over years. And I think the last thing is that I had the luxury of not learning how to run Facebook ads from somebody that was good at email or search or programmatic. I kind of came in fresh, which meant that I have a huge advantage over most people, or I did, and I try to teach that advantage, because I look at Facebook not as a version of Google Display or of email. And I don't value the same metrics in the same way that most other people do. And I've always looked at it through the lens of business results. And that has made me a really bad agency employee.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when I got to the side of vendor and e-commerce, made me one of the best. I'm on my 4th 8-figure business to a 9-figure exit in the last 5 years that started as a low-end 7-figure business.
Dude, that's not bad.
It's not luck. Eventually, it's a process.
Do that once, and that's cool. Yeah. Almost on your 4th. That's fantastic. But that's such an interesting point, though. We all, and just realizing we all come to whatever we're working on with a paradigm, right? So you came to Facebook ads, but really, not with the paradigm of Google or TV ads or something like that. If I were to approach and try to dig into Facebook, I would totally look at it from the lens of Google ads and YouTube, because that's what I know. But that fresh perspective is useful. And I think, like you said, you can kind of unlearn that a little bit and force yourself to have a fresh perspective, which is pretty cool. So amazing ways to learn, 7-figure a day budgets, and Facebook letting you be an alpha tester, beta tester, things like that. That's awesome. So fast forward to today, quick shout out to Triple Whale and Raba, mutual friend of ours. You were just nominated for a Whaley, which is brand new. That's Triple Whale's award they give out in the D2C industry. Sadly, you did not win, but it's still a happy story. So talk about, what were you nominated for, and how did you finish in the final rankings there?
Yeah, so they had a lot of awards. Best, most innovative brands and communities and all of that. I was nominated for the last award, which was Best Operator, which was tremendous. I mean, it was an amazing award to be recognized like that. And sadly, I didn't win, but Renee from Marine Layer did win. And Mazel Tov, if I'm going to lose to somebody, I'll lose to that woman that is doing 200 million plus retail locations. Hey, look, it's Triple Whale. She's the bigger whale than me. I'll come for her next year.
And phenomenal brand.
Give me 12 months.
Just a
I'll
great
win.
story.
Yeah, and so it was an honor. And if you have to losing to the best feels really good.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, kudos to you to become runner-up for the inaugural Whaleys as Best Operator. It's like their Best Picture, if we're going to compare this to the Oscars. Yeah. So well done, and tip the hat to Marine Layer for sure. So awesome, man. Well, let's dive in. So we're going to talk Facebook and TikTok and social and AI and a lot of fun stuff. But what are some of the changes that have happened with Facebook ads over the last 6 to 8 months that maybe some people aren't aware of yet?
Yeah, I think the biggest change that we're seeing is the unfair advantage that Facebook is giving to Advantage Plus campaigns right now, which is a certain style of running an ad. It's a certain campaign type that's an option. I was doing some of the tests about a year ago where they were giving us about 10,000 a day to test it. And it's a slight change in the way that Facebook is using their data to target the right people to get results. Historically, once Facebook introduced the conversion pixel, which again, I remember when that was more traumatic to the industry than iOS 14 ever was. Which, was just wild. Like iOS 13 was a roadblock, like a speed bump. You know what I mean? In comparison to the end of days.
But the conversion pixel, that was traumatic, mostly in a good way, right? For Facebook advertisers, it was traumatic maybe for the rest of the industry. Yes
and no. I saw so many agencies refuse to adopt the conversion objectives. They really dove into PPC. And Facebook, to be fair, was designed to compete with Google Display. And when they refused to adopt machine learning, there were folks that bought into it that were really successful. All the brands that got really big in 2016, 2017, 2018, because Facebook ads are really easy, adopted it. There are other agencies that fought it that lost like floors in their Manhattan office. It was a massive kind of either you were on one side of that divide or the other. And to bring it back to Advantage Plus, we're seeing a very interesting piece come in where Facebook is underpricing the attention, specifically to invest in a change in consumer behavior. They've done this previously with dynamic product ads, carousel ads. Before that, there was no carousel, and those are the ads where you swipe through left and you just see all the products. There was nothing like that beforehand. And what Facebook did was they gave a discount on how much it costs to reach people, specifically making the investment to change consumer behavior. To be fair, they also did it with Canvas ads, which failed miserably. Look, I made a lot of mistakes with Canvas ads. I completely bet on it and failed miserably. And Call of Duty was still the number one game that year. So kind of shows you how that works. And we're also seeing them make the investment in shops, where a lot of people running Facebook ads have noticed that there's like a 20% off on the shop side. And that's Facebook making an investment to take some of their profit to change consumer behavior.
20% off on your CPMs. So you're running an ad to
No, 20%
a
off like the
shop.
purchase. It was 20% off the purchase price. People are getting massive discounts, up to like $20 off buying something. But Facebook was just refunding the user. It wasn't actually coming out of the advertiser's bottom line.
Oh, interesting.
And that was to get people used to using shops. And they're really invested in changing consumer behavior. So with Advantage Plus, they're investing heavily in getting the advertisers to change the way that they're using the platform in a slightly different style. And best practice for years now has been broad targeting, dynamic creative to find your best ads, and letting that run at lowest cost auto placement, which is now maximized conversions or whatnot. Or I remember it was AutoBid. They keep changing the name for the same stuff. But what we're getting with Advantage Plus is they are giving advertisers better results merely because they're using that tool. Because Advantage Plus does three things really well and different than other platforms. Number one, normally the way
explain what Advantage Plus is to those that don't know, and maybe you'll wrap that up into these three things. But
yeah, absolutely. So Advantage Plus is it's an option when you're running a conversion campaign to tap into the Advantage Plus style way of running the algorithm. And what it does differently than a normal conversion campaign is three things. Typically, Facebook spends money on ads because the end user has a good experience with that ad. And then our job is to make sure that the ads that get spent also drive good business results. In Advantage Plus, it's not only saying the end user, but also that person is directly in market to make a purchasing decision, which is a slight nuanced change, but it's more or less like even at prospecting, we're still kind of retargeting people that might very well be in another company's funnel. Where at Broad, for instance, I used to run New Balance, and we did initial testing around advanced matching, and we found that up to 2/3 of our budget was spent on people that had clicked on our competitors' ads and been to their site in the last week. Advantage Plus is basically cranking that up. It's a way more aggressive version of that. Second thing is that it's not allowing for dynamic creative, so you have to put in your best ads. And third, only good ads are getting spent. So you can put in really bad ads and push the budget to the moon, and you might not get any delivery at all, which is very similar to bid caps and cost caps. So Advantage Plus is basically forcing advertisers to only put out the best ads and to prioritize or isolate those best ads and spend the most amount of money on them so that they get the best results. And really what Facebook is doing is they're putting their thumb on the scale of the market economy so that advertisers are encouraged to make the best form of content so that Facebook users have the best experience. And that is a tremendous change. And we don't know how long that'll go on for. Eventually those costs will come up. But the folks that are taking advantage of it are seeing astronomically, like, just tremendous performance above the baseline. And to give it a small example, I was testing it at 10,000 a day, maybe 6 months ago, a year ago. I'm now at 35, 40,000 a day on an ad account where I'm spending 80 to 100,000 a day. And that's a huge piece. And to be fair,
so
it's
30 to 40% of your total spend is going to
yeah. And we have to understand that part of the way it's doing that is predicting what people are going to do. So it can't be the majority of your traffic, because if all of your people are taking predictions, eventually you run out of data to make good decisions with, and that's a whole other thing for another day. But it's doing
interesting.
Great.
So let's dive into creatives just for a minute. I do want to kind of underscore something, because this is interesting, something I didn't know about Advantage Plus. But so Facebook is rewarding you for just running the best creatives, and in fact, they'll only show the best creatives or good creatives. in some ways, that's kind of what Google did early on with their quality score, right? They were
Mm-hmm.
incentivizing you to create a good ad. So they look at click-through rate, they look at keyword relevance, they look at your landing page, and they'll actually lower the cost for you. They'll make
Yep.
it more attractive for you as an advertiser if you create a great ad. So
Yeah.
costs will always go up, right? That's going to happen. But probably going to be some elements of that stick around for Facebook, which is interesting. So
Yeah. And
cool. So
and
let's
that's,
talk creatives for. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, and that's how Facebook's always worked. This is just a far more aggressive nature than what we've used to seeing. Sort of like how TikTok is the most aggressive content suggestion engine ever. It's sort of like the YouTube suggested video, but on steroids with a nuclear bomb attached to it. Sort of the same thing.
Got it. Nice. That's awesome. So